get this far. Human beings had an immeasurable desire to discover, to invent, to build. Our future depends on us furthering these ideals. A responsibility that rests on the shoulders of generations to come. But with every new discovery, there is risk. There is sacrifice. And there are consequences.
You ready for what's coming?
What is coming?
The answers.
No, I'll tell you what's really coming. Complete and utter BS that's making you wish for the 1994 Fantastic Four movie to get a proper release, because good lord. I mean, welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. We have a lot of films to get to, 6 to be exact. We're looking at the weekend of August 7th, 2015, and boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're starting off with a doozy this week. Fantastic Four, or I'm sorry, Fant Four Stick. Because poor literacy is cool, you know, like Terminator Genesis, but I digress. This is Fantastic Four. This is the reboot of the Fantastic Four franchise, the second time most people saw the Fantastic Four on the big screen following the 2005 movie, and then, of course, we recently had the 2025 movie, which we'll get to that as we go along, but, in this movie, the Fantastic Four must learn to harness their superhuman abilities gained from an alternate universe to save Earth from a friend-turned-enemy. We have a cast that includes Miles Teller as Mr. Fantastic, Kate Mara as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, Jamie Bell playing The Thing, Toby Kebbell playing Dr. Doom. You also have Reg E. Cathy from The Wire, and Tim Blake Nelson in another comic book movie with not in the cinematic universe of Marvel, because he was, of course, in The Incredible Hulk as what does he turn into? Why can't I remember the name now? Samuel Stearns from The Incredible Hulk. I mean, that one I couldn't have figured it out. I'd have to look that up, because it's been a long time since I saw The Incredible Hulk. I think he was in Captain America: Brave New World, so I should remember that. But yeah, after 3 failed attempts to bring the Fantastic Four to the big screen up to this point, which of course I included the 1994 movie as well as the two films in the 2000s. You would think that hiring Josh Trank, who was just coming off of Chronicle, one of the biggest surprise hits of the year, surprise hits of the decade, and assembling a cast of some of the best actors working in the business, Teller, Jordan, Jamie Bell, Kate Mara, you would think that this would work together and they'd be fully committed to making this work. It doesn't. And by it doesn't, I mean it's a colossal failure for a number of reasons. For one thing, the movie has almost none of the scenes from the actual trailer. Like, they shot all this stuff for the trailer knowing that they weren't going to put it in the movie. In fact, even Josh Trank, on the day this movie came out, went on Twitter publicly to say that a year ago you would have seen a great Fantastic Four movie, but now you're going to see the piece of garbage that's in theaters. I mean, he didn't say that literally, but you get the idea. Like, the studio interfered with this one big time. Second, if you watch the movie, you could tell that they did reshoots, and they didn't even try to hide it. Like, look at Kate Mara's hair throughout the course of this movie. The wigs change midway through the film. Third, the cast is wasted. You've got really great actors in here. All very good actors, but they're wasted by a lousy script. Hell, Jamie Bell is the thing is seen as an afterthought in this. He barely has any screen time. He comes in late into the movie after he's introduced early on. Like, they didn't have anything to do with him. And, it's weird because, Miles Teller's talking about him being like, guard my back, man. You're the muscles of the group. And, when you look at the height, Miles Teller is taller than Jamie Bell. How's he gonna have his back? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Toby Kebbell's the most corniest and lamest Doctor Doom ever. Like, he makes Julian McMahon look dignified by comparison. And Julian McMahon was at least trying. In fact, the actors in the Fantastic Four films before this were trying. I mean, this movie is just such an unbelievable, disjointed piece of garbage. Like, I think the problem is that you never really get the sense that these characters have any chemistry together because the movie never shows you them actually working together, except for working on the experiment and all that. They never show them having a that's the thing. They haven't had too many conversations, and when they show them having any kind of fun or anything, it's just like a brief second of a montage. I mean, there are more scenes in this movie where the lighting is just nowhere to be found, and these people are just talking and walking around in these dark rooms. I felt like Nostalgia Critic when he did the review for this. Turn on a light, for God's sakes! I mean, there's no way you can be able to see or hear what the hell, or understand what the hell's going on when you don't have the full lights to do it with. Which brings me to the visual effects, which can sometimes be cool, especially early on, but they're lame. But not only that, they're dark and grim. And I mean, you can barely see them all the time. The planet that they go to, the forest they shoot in, it looks like something out of a Twilight movie. Even the Twilight movies would look at this and go like, hey man, you gotta put some goddamn lights in this. It looks so dim and lifeless, and it just takes you out of the action. And the biggest problem with the movie overall, the script is all over the place. The film starts off in the past, and it's fine. You get a good sense of, how, Grimm and, Reed Richards meet up is form a friendship overall, and it works well. But then they get to the present, and that's when the caboose starts to ride off the car. Like, they go to a science fair, and they're showing off their experiments. They're showing off how they're able to do what they were able to do. And science teacher Homer Simpson, no joke, it's Dan Castellaneta, basically tells them, "This isn't a magic competition. You're disqualified." It's just like, even if you don't believe in the science, there's a reason why the basketballs blew up. And I think it's even funnier that the people who are monitoring this doing this gigantic project, Reggie Cathy's character and Kate Mara, go to the science fair to look for scientists, and it's just like, it's all downhill from there. Like, the cliff is about to fall off, and then the ending is where the caboose not only falls off the track, but goes off the cliff, but it explodes into a fiery aftermath. It's ridiculous the shit they pull at the end of this movie to try to make this make sense, and it just fails on every single level. Nothing about this makes any sense. They throw everything but the kitchen sink to try to wrap this thing up, and they just go insane with it, but not in a good way. Like, I'm starting to realize now why the last Fantastic Four movie we got, the last one that just came out last year, why did that one work? Even though this is our first time seeing all these characters together for the first time ever, that film did a good job of establishing a relationship between everybody. It did a good job of showing everybody that, hey, here's what these guys can do. Here's what they've been able to do. So that even though you don't really see them at first, you get a sense of the camaraderie that they have together. They're a family. Like, you buy into their dynamic in that movie. The last Fantastic Four movie that just came out got the Fantastic Four right. This, on the other hand, this was just the sign that the Fantastic Four had a lot of production problems, and they were just making this as they were going along, and it just shows, and they had nothing to work with here. This movie makes the Roger Corman movie and the two previous Fantastic Four films look like Citizen Kane by comparison. It's a mess. It's a mess that's even more of a mess because of the talent being wasted here. And honestly, it's why Fantastic Four needed to eventually come back to Marvel Studios, because look at what they did just recently. They showed that they know the source material better, and they know that they got to show the Fantastic Four being the Fantastic Four. And yeah, I mean, it was something that I didn't think they were ever going to do because because studios were so gung-ho about letting other Disney take their properties. I mean, Spider-Man for the longest time wasn't allowed to be in the MCU until just when this movie was coming out, when they were putting together Tom Holland to be Spider-Man and Captain America Civil War, and then eventually getting his own movie, and they've reaped the benefits of that. And of course now Fox is owned by Disney, so they don't have to worry about getting all these characters getting away from them and all that, because now they have all of them. And so far the end results have paid dividends for them with first steps. But this movie is just terrible, man. This is an unbelievably bad movie. It's unbelievably bad. I'm about to throw up in my mouth a little bit, but no. Ooh, good Lord, sorry. I don't know what's going on there, but bottom line, Fans 4 Stick is bad. It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. Just like my hair. I don't know what's going on with my hair, but maybe it's because of the fan. Hey, it's 83 degrees outside. Bear with me here. I got to get some air in this room, but anyway, completely going off subject here. That's Fantastic Four. Let's go ahead and get to some good movies, finally. Let's take a look at Joel Edgerton's directorial debut with Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall, The Gift.
Call him Gordo the Weirdo. We've all done things we regret.
Kids are mean.
Kids are honest. The past is not done with you. But what we don't know
What did you do to him?
is how we'll pay the price.
What's this? That's a gift for you.
The Gift is a modern-day fatal attraction.
What did you do?
It will keep you guessing until the very end. The Gift, rated R, in theaters August 7th.
Yeah, this was definitely one of those movies that really kind of came out of nowhere. It was a movie that not a lot of people had a lot of high hopes in. It came from STX Films, which was a relatively new company coming out. So their name wasn't officially well known just yet, but lo and behold, they put together a pretty damn good thriller that is definitely well worth checking out if you haven't seen it. But Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall star Simon and Robin, who are a young married couple whose life is going just as they planned until a chance encounter with an acquaintance from Simon's high school sends the world into a harrowing tailspin. Simon doesn't recognize Gordo, played by Joel Edgerton at first, but after a series of uninvited encounters and mysterious gifts prove troubling, a horrible secret from the past is uncovered after more than 20 years. After Robin learns the unsettling truth about what happened between Simon and Gordo, she starts to question how well do we really know the people close to us, and are past bygones ever really bygones? And yeah, like I said, this is a directorial debut for Joel Edgerton, who had been a great actor since then, and he really gets to show what he can do here. I mean, he filmed all of his scenes in a matter of just 2 weeks and had them all edited together within 7 days. That's pretty impressive stuff here. And yeah, the movie overall is really good. You get to see what Joel Edgerton can do as a director, but on top of that, you get to see Jason Bateman in a much more serious role. I mean, you usually see him as the comedic guy from Arrested Development and all that, but here he gets a chance to really show his dramatic abilities that he would later use on down the road in Ozark. And hey, proof that Blumhouse Studios isn't completely a hack studio, because, you know, for every The Gallows, you get a movie like this. It's just like, man, this company really knows what it's doing, because it's a $5 million budgeted movie. Doesn't really seem like it costs a whole lot, and it gives you a lot more than you're expecting. It's a great psychological thriller. The acting is really good here. The tension is really good. It's a very good film overall that doesn't, I don't think, get the attention that it really deserves. It was a big hit when it came out, but it seemed to kind of just fade out of obscurity for the longest time. I don't really hear a lot of people ever talking about it all that much, but man, it's one you should definitely check out. Definitely a very underrated thriller. The Gift, definitely worth checking out. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, which is Meryl Streep in Ricki and the Flash.
From Academy Award-winning director Jonathan Demme.
Guess you gotta give up a lot of things to become a rock star.
Comes the story of the question every mother asks: can you have it all? I thought we were your dream.
I can't have two dreams.
On August 7th, we've always had issues, but what family doesn't? Academy Award winner Meryl Streep.
I was never a traditional mom, but I'd like to give all I have unto you.
Ricki and the Flash. Rated PG-13. August 7th.
So yeah, this is a very odd movie. You've got a veteran director in Jonathan Demme, which was actually his last film before he passed away. And then you have a young up-and-coming writer, Diablo Cody, who of course wrote Juno and Jennifer's Body, and also Meryl Streep, and also Kevin Kline, who are meeting again for the third time since Sophie's Choice and A Prairie Home Companion. And it's a very odd movie, to say the least. But in this movie, Meryl Streep plays a woman who leaves her family to become a rock star and later gets a chance to make amends. You also have Meryl Streep's daughter, Mamie Gumner, in here, Sebastian Stan, Rick Springfield, Audra McDonald, Charlotte Rae, Ben Platt. And it's a movie where it's not bad per se. It's just kind of the generic It's the generic type of a film that you take your mother to on opening, because she wants to go to the movies so much, and she wants to see this. And yeah, you go see it, and it's fine for what it is, but you honestly don't remember it after you see it. And I think a lot of people really did forget about this movie in general once it came out. It was just kind of like, it's fine, and then they went on about their merry way. It's a movie where there really isn't a lot there to really say is great about it. I'll say this: Meryl Streep certainly sings a lot better than she did in Mamma Mia. But then again, she did that with Into the Woods. But, I mean, Meryl Streep really probably is the best thing about the movie in general. The script overall is kind of forgettable. There's nothing too surprising or shocking in it. But the acting overall is fine. I think Kevin Kline is always going to be very good. Sebastian Stan has a good role in here. So does Rick Springfield. You keep forgetting that Rick Springfield could be a pretty good actor, despite, all the years that he's known for as a musician. And, of course, he was on General Hospital back in the day. But yeah, the movie overall, pretty forgettable. Nothing too amazing, nothing too spectacular. I was thinking maybe if you really want to see a Meryl Streep movie and you haven't seen this one, every Meryl Streep movie you haven't seen this one, it's worth a one-time watch. But other than that, though, you're really never going to remember it after it's all said and done. So that's Ricki and the Flash. So let's go ahead and move on to probably the best overall movie that we have this weekend, and that is Aardman Animation's latest film, Shaun the Sheep movie.
The sheep and his flock are off to the big city for an epic movie adventure. But to stay out of trouble, they'll have to look sharp and blend in. From Aardman Animations, the creators of Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, the movie, rated PG, in theaters August 5th.
I do find it amusing that all the advertisements for this movie called it Shaun the Sheep, the movie, even though if you go online, it's literally called Shaun the Sheep movie, which, I don't know, just thought that was kind of amusing. But this is Shaun the Sheep movie based off of the TV series, which was self-inspired, the spin-off of the Wallace and Gromit, the character from the Wallace and Gromit short of Close Shave. In this movie, Shaun the Sheep is tired of doing the same work at the farm every day. He decides to take a day off, and in order to do that, he needs to make sure the farmer doesn't know what more happens than they can handle. The sheep finds their way into the big city. They've got an animal control guy after them, and now they need to get back to the farm. And like I said before, this is the character from the Close Shave Wallace and Gromit short, and I never saw the Shaun the Sheep TV series. Never really got fully interested in the character in that series in general, but I was very hesitant to watch the film when it came out, but the film got a heap of praise, 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. This was back when Rotten Tomatoes actually meant something, and that must mean there was something good about the movie that works, and sure enough, yeah, this was a really damn good movie. This is basically the better Minions movie, because I like Minions overall, but that one had a lot of dialogue from the voice actors they had in that: Sandra Bullock, John Hamm, Michael Keaton, Steve Carell, Steve Coogan, those people. This movie has no dialogue whatsoever, and it works solely on the characters' reactions and facial structures, just like Gromit and Wallace and Gromit. Some of the funniest moments in the movie are simplistic scenarios. The prison scene is brilliant. I mean, one of the characters in there, one of the characters in the prison cell is this dog who just solely stares at them without blinking at all. He just has this face on him, like a mean mug on his face, and you don't know is just the reaction on the characters' faces throughout that scene, and what that eventually leads to into the post-credit sequence is just amazing. I mean, this is some really, really funny stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good funny stuff in this, but there's also a lot of heart to it, especially towards the end. Like, for someone like me who never saw the TV series, they do a good job of giving you a reasoning for why the animals care about the farmer so much, and why the farmer cares about them, in just the ways they do it. There's a great shot where, the bad guy is about to push him off of a cliff, and they're inside this barn, and the farmer sees this mirror again, seeing all the animals cuddle up around him, and it takes him back to his childhood, and because he's had amnesia throughout the movie, and it just wakes him back up into reality again, and it's just such a well done scene. It's just like, it just proves you can never go wrong with Aardman. I mean, this was one of their best outings overall. I mean, if you really love their works, you really don't need to see the series to understand why this is such an enjoyable movie. It's animated beautifully, the comedy works really well, and it was one of the best surprises to come out that year. It's a really, really good animated movie, and one definitely worth checking out. I highly recommend the Shaun the Sheep movie, or Shaun the Sheep movie, whatever you want to call it. it's Shaun the Sheep, and he's in a movie. Just go with that. So, anyway, let's move on to our next movie, a radically different movie than Shaun the Sheep. This is The Diary of a Teenage Girl.
I had sex today. More different than I did yesterday. We haven't played the power, you know. Hey. I refuse to be some sniveling crybaby. This is my life. This makes me officially an adult. The Diary of a Teenage Girl. Rated R.
This is directed by Mariel Heller, who will later go on to direct Melissa McCarthy and Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. But this movie definitely is very different from those movies, I'll tell you that much. Belle Powley stars as a 15-year-old girl in late 1970s San Francisco who becomes sexually active when starting a relationship with her mother's boyfriend, the mother being played by Kristen Wiig, and the boyfriend being played by Alexander Skarsgård. And she wants to lose her virginity. And this is one of those coming-of-age teen movies where, I mean, they do take a lot of chances with that. I mean, this woman, Belle Powley's character is very sexually promiscuous. I mean, she goes off and she might be bisexual, honestly, because, yeah, I mean, she's not only going after the guys in this, she goes after the girls as well, and this movie is not afraid to go for it, man, and that's what I kind of really like about the movie. It does take a lot of chances, and it really does work overall. It's a very engaging film, and it's a movie that it's not ashamed of itself. It knows exactly what it's doing, and it has a great cast to work with, and a promising young director who really gets to show what she can do, and it works really well. It's a very solid film. It's a film that works on a number of different levels. Visually, it's pleasing to look at. It's funny. The dramatic elements are really good. You are compelled to get to see what this character is going to go through, and it is a radically different movie compared to other movies of its type. It's a movie that has no boundaries to it. And that can work out in this director's favor. Although her most recent film, Night Bitch, which was another movie that seemed like it could go into gonzo territory, it never really does that. And I think that's her worst film overall, but, 3 for 4 is not bad for a director overall, even with that film not being as great as it could have been. But this one overall is really good. I highly recommend checking it out, The Diary of a Teenage Girl. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here. It's Kevin Bacon starring in the thriller Cop Car.
I know where to find you.
Are you okay?
You don't steal a cop car!
Yeah, talk about a movie that is showing no mercy. This one took me back to like the days of Steven Spielberg's Duel, mixed with that movie Josh and Sam, which was not a great movie, but Duel was. But in this movie, you have Kevin Bacon, who plays a corrupt sheriff's officer who comes across two young boys, and juvenile delinquents, who have hijacked an abandoned police car, and he just decides, I'm going all out on this because, yeah, I have some shady shit within me. This is directed by John Watts, and hey, this was the movie that probably got him the Spider-Man films, and hey, we're proud to him. They were great films, but yeah, this is a really good movie. It's a very underrated film showing Kevin Bacon in a role that we're not used to seeing him in, as this grisly, dirty bad guy who wants nothing to do more than to kill these kids, so that nobody can ever know what this guy is doing. I mean, he plays a scummy dirtbag in this movie, and he works very well here. You also got great performances by James Friedson Jackson and Hayes Welford as the kids. Cameron Manheim from The Practice is really good in here. Shea Wiggum, one of his early film roles. Well, I don't think it was one of his early film roles. I think it's the one that most people started to recognize him more for. I mean, he was on Boardwalk Empire before this, but his name was kind of starting to become more the norm, starting with movies like Boardwalk Empire, and then he was in the first season of True Detective. But yeah, a lot of good things in this movie, a lot of good tension-filled moments, and like I said, it does feel like a mix between the aforementioned Josh and Sam, and also Duel, in a way that it takes place in the desert, and you're just following these two kids who are just trying to survive this whole thing. And it does work really well. It works on so many levels. It's a very good film. Very underrated gem of a film. One that doesn't really get talked about all that much, but if you like the Spider-Man movies and like this guy's direction, you should definitely check this one out. It's definitely well worth the watch. Cop Car, easily recommended. Check this one out. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we'll take a look at 2 more movies, including one of the big movies of the summer, the big biopic about NWA from the people who were in NWA and directed by F. Gary Gray, Straight Outta Compton. We'll also take a look at Guy Ritchie's adaptation of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill, a movie that I thought was the Batman-Superman movie that we never got. Because those were my original picks for Batman, Armie Hammer was. But of course, that was before we knew what Armie Hammer would be like. But yeah, you would think it'd be a good movie, but not so much. We'll talk about it tomorrow, though. But with all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. With all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.